Every new author has a story to claim. Sit back, listen to conversation between Terry Lynn and new authors on the rise, and let the journey begin.
Hello, friends. Welcome to my podcast, Conversations Between Terry Lynn and New Authors. On this episode, I'm talking with my friend who is an author, Stephanie Faye. She writes young adult novels. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hi, how are you? I'm so excited to be here.
I'm glad to have you here.
Please tell us about your writing and your first book.
I write YA fantasy. No spice, just magic, mystery, fun. My first book is the Zelena the First Glyph. It's the first book in the Zelena trilogy, and it's about a 16-year-old girl banished from her realm to ours with her memory mostly erased, and assassins are after her to finish the job. She has to figure out who banished her, why, and how to get home before the assassins get her. I started writing when I was a little kid. It was like how I communicated the best. And this book came about after a bad bout of depression. My therapist said, start writing, journaling. I didn't want to journal what I was already dealing with. So I began writing short stories, and Zelena came out of one of my short stories, and it has completely helped everything. My daughter was really interested in the short stories. She would read my short stories, and she kept asking for more information, give me more information. And so it just grew and grew and grew, and now it's an entire trilogy with a spin-off series.
I'm glad writing helped with your depression.
What inspired you to write children's books?
My depression was one. I just began writing, and that's what came naturally. And two, I'm a mom of 4 kids, and trying to find books that were appropriate for them was really more difficult to find than I thought. So as the story became more and more, I thought, this would be really good for kids as young as 8, and for anybody that wants to read a book without all the spice. And that's what inspired me, my kids, my family, all of that.
Yeah, the world needs more fun books without bad words or spicy content for young adults, and even for us, adults who enjoy wholesome books.
What challenges have you faced as a new author, especially when it comes to publishing or marketing your book?
Isn't just being an indie author just such a challenge, right?
Yes, it is.
But my biggest challenge was learning how to do it, because honestly, I thought I would just get to write a book and it would be done. But it's editing after editing after editing, and then book covers. I didn't know what alpha readers were or beta readers. I didn't know how to do like pre-orders, and I definitely didn't know how to market. I thought editing was really rough, but marketing is even harder. And really finding a group of other authors that are going through it and learning from each other is what helps. So for me, the biggest part was just realizing writing is the easiest part. The rest of it is really difficult, the editing and the marketing. That's been my biggest challenge.
I agree with you. Editing and marketing are hard for me. Would you feel comfortable with sharing the name of the online community you found?
Yeah, it's called Author Ready. So like you're an author who's ready to do your book, Author Ready. And it's got, I don't even know, 40-something time New York Times bestseller that comes in, and he helps and he gives tips and he gives tricks. And there's thousands of us in this community all over the US, maybe even outside the US, that we give tips and tricks, and we help each other, and we can read parts of our books and give feedback, help with marketing, editing, alpha readers, beta readers, all of it. Because really, Terry, right? Writing is a solitary thing. You sit in your room and you write, but the rest of it, we've got to have help. And so you want a community, you want to surround yourself with people that can help you do that.
Yeah, having support from other authors makes all the difference in the world.
What was your favorite book as a child, and do you think it influenced your writing style today?
I didn't like reading as a little kid, as a young kid, which is wild. I know. So my mother tried all these different books, and this is crazy, but the one that got me hooked into reading was Pet Cemetery by Stephen King. And I was way too young to be reading that, but it did start a love of reading. And really, I got more into better reading for my age with The Chronicles of Narnia with C.S. Lewis, by C.S. Lewis. And that's what sparked that love of fantasy and magic. And then, of course, that developed into Tolkien and all of that. So, yeah, I would go with C.S. Lewis, but Stephen King is the one that showed me a love of reading and how fun it could be.
I also like the book C.W. Lewis the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes, I love that book. That book, one of my teachers in school read, and I was just one of the only kids in that schoolroom that was enthralled with the story, and I wanted to devour it. And I begged my mother for months to please go buy the whole thing. And finally she caved in. It was very different from Stephen King, so she didn't quite know what to do with it, but much more appropriate for a child.
Is there a scene or character in your book that's especially meaningful to you? Why?
I love all of my characters. I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, I love all of my characters, but there is a scene in the book between Zelina and her friend where they're in the basement of a museum having pizza. It's the first time Zelina has ever had pizza. That conversation about the cheese in the basement of the museum is a conversation my daughter and I had. And it was such a fun thing to write because it took me back to that moment when we were in New York at the Natural Museum, the History Museum there. And just, it brought me back to that. And I put it in my book. My daughter read the book and she came over and she said, I can't believe you put our conversation in the book. I said, that's the dangers of living with an author. Be careful what you say and do. It'll wind up in a book. Yeah, but that is one of my favorites because it was such a great moment with me and my daughter.
I love that you wrote your experience with your daughter in your book.
It's been fun. And then watching them read it and they're connecting the story with their real life. And you see that realization dawn on them. And we're going to be the only ones that get it. And so it's kind of fun. It's like an inside joke just between us. Other people are hearing the joke, but they don't get it. We do. It's fun.
What age group do you write for, and what draws you to that specific audience?
I write for, I say upper middle grade, YA. I've had as young as 8 read the books and as old as 80 read the books and love them. I was drawn to writing these books because my oldest daughter came home at probably 13 or 14 with a book. I thought it was appropriate. It had a good cover on it. And she read it for a couple days, threw it in the trash, and I couldn't figure out why. We don't throw books in the trash. And she told me what was in it, and it was not appropriate for a child. There was a lot of spice and too much information. And I really want to write fun books with a lot of action, adventure, mystery, stuff like that, without the parents having to worry about what else they're seeing. There's no bad words. There's no spice. There's no love triangles. There's none of that. It's just pure fun. It's just fun that anybody can enjoy.
I totally agree with you. Teenagers need more wholesome books to read.
Yes, they really do. It's too much and it's too young. It's too young starting them with all of this. Like, let them be kids and have some fun. Let them develop this great imagination of mystical realms or whatever, but we can do it without all the unnecessary stuff.
Are there any books or authors that inspired your writing style or love for storytelling?
I have to go with Stephen King because he's the one that got me into reading. I don't write anything like him, but I thought, wow, this is really cool just to be able to tell a story. But really, Tolkien, Lewis, mystery or fantasy books, any mystery fantasy books like that really, really spark my imagination more. So they're going to be the ones that get those brain juices flowing to tell the story. But I truly, truly love C.S. Lewis and Tolkien. Just absolutely love them.
What do you think makes a book truly memorable?
I think it's the way that it connects with people, right? It's that connection. It's not just a story, it's a connection. Maybe something you didn't even know you needed, you find in a book. I love reading YA. As old as I am, I still love reading YA, especially fantasy. I can go back and read some of my old books, which I have on my bookshelves, and it'll tell me a completely different story. It connects with me differently now that I'm older. It's the same story, but it connects differently. So for me, it's that connection.
Yeah, it's connection with characters for me too.
Do you have any advice for other aspiring authors who are just starting out, especially in children's literature?
You know, it sounds simple, but it's just right. Just sit down and write. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be pretty. If you truly want to write a story, just sit down and write it. Lock the rest of the world away. It doesn't have to be, this was such great advice for me, was you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours every day writing. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just sit down and tell a little bit of that story. And the more you tell it, the more it's going to flow, right? It's turning on the water, trying to get it hot. It's going to start cold. You got to let it run for a little bit for it to get hot. So just sit down and write. That's the best advice I can give you, is just sit down and write, and don't expect it to be perfect.
If a child came up to you and said, I want to write a book too, what would you say to encourage them?
Just write the story. You've got a story rolling around in your head. Just get it out. Just get it out. That's the best thing you can do, is get that story out. It hurts so much to keep that story in. Just let it out. Sit down and write it.
That's excellent advice for kids to write their stories down.
Yeah. It work, for me, struggling because I have ADHD and I have dyslexia, being able to just sit down and write, because I have a hard time talking. As a kid, that was perfect. So having somebody there saying, just write what you're feeling, write what you're thinking, even if it doesn't make sense, just write it. It really does help, and it's going to help that kid.
What exciting projects or books are you working on next?
I have a whole new series coming, and right now it's got 6 books, and I'm working on all 6 at the same time. It's a little bit insane, but that's how I am, right? It is a kind of a spin-off of the Zelina series. It's in the same realm as her, but we're going to meet all new different characters, a dark army, more portal jumping and realm hopping, and it is going to be a blast. It's called the Glyph Master series. I've got the first one written. It's in editing. I'm halfway through the second one. The third, fourth, fifth, and sixth are all notes and getting outlined. It's going to be amazing.
I'm sure that will be a good series.
I think so. Another whole series that's fantasy, magic, mystery, fun, and good, no spice, good, clean fun for anybody.
Where can people find you online and follow your journey?
I'm all over the place. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I think that's it. I think that's it. Yes. And it's either Stephanie Faye Books or s.faye.books or something similar to that. On all of them. I'm all over.
Thank you, Stephanie, for your information.
Yes.
I will put the link to all of your information in this episode's notes below.
All right. Thank you.
Is it anything else you want people to know about you?
I just have a love of writing. I love helping other authors as well. Again, I deal with ADHD and dyslexia, which makes it really difficult. And it's just, I love this journey. I write YA fantasy with no spice for a reason. I have people come up to me and ask for spice in my books. First of all, ew, these are teenagers. Second of all, that's not who I am. So if you ever see a book by me, know that it's going to be good, clean fun. It's just there for fun. You can trust your kids, your young adults, even your spouse with my books, because they're just clean fun. I love writing books. I love sharing my stories.
I'm sure sure people will enjoy your books.
I hope so. I enjoy them.
Thank you, Stephanie, for talking with me on my podcast, Conversations Between Terry Lynn and New Authors on the Rise.
That was so much fun, Terry.